Coach Tony Villareal. Coach Tony, what's going on?
Hi, how you doing? Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Coach, you are on campus at Port Isabel. I'm sure that's a relief to be able to be back in the workplace.
Yeah, absolutely. We're already, off and running. I think I started on Monday, so I've been here for 5 days. We've been trying to get acclimatized to the new office and the coaches and the principal and the superintendent and the community. And there's just been a whirlwind since last Wednesday when I got approved by the board. Yes.
How have you been? How have you been handling the pandemic? And I know these past couple of weeks we've been able to get out of our houses just a little bit more, but through March and April it was pretty tough for most of us having to be able
Well,
to.
yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I was working with my son. My son opened up a dentist office in Edinburgh, so we were doing that for a year, 2 years, and then all of a sudden, in March, it kind of shut us down a little bit. But we were fortunate that my son was able to continue to work, do some emergency procedures according to ADA and the Texas Dental Association. So we were still doing a little bit of that, but we kind of got when you're in a medical office and a dental office, boy, you learn real quick about medical procedures and social distancing and disinfecting. I mean, if we do things correctly and you go to the Starbucks, they want you to stand 6 feet away. That's one thing. But when you walk into a doctor's office, you better do it right because, there's all kinds of liability. So, yeah, I was doing that for like a year and a half, 2 years. I think my son opened up his practice July 1st, a couple of years ago. And so we've been dealing with that, trying to get out. I think like everybody else, we got a lot of, all of a sudden you're staying home and the honeydews and, your yard looks better than ever. All the little projects, you've knocked them out, and I think March and April, and they were just like running out of things to do at the house, like, golly, man, I think I fixed everything, And so, yeah, you just kind of, the one thing I did notice, and I'm very proud that at least my community, I noticed a lot of people outside exercising. And, I'm a runner, I run 2 or 3 miles a day. And I always ran, but I was out there running by myself in my neighborhood. Now you just see kids on bikes and young men and young women, young adults running and walking their dogs. I mean, it's just like it's a parade. So I see that's a good thing. I wish more people would continue to do that, even as the pandemic gets lifted and all the restrictions. But I've noticed that, and I'm very fortunate that I come from an athletic background. I can appreciate proper diet and proper exercise. So I see that, and I'm hoping everybody takes this as a lesson and try to be healthier in a lot of ways.
So in between the time when between Weslaco and now PI, you mainly were helping your son start up his dental business?
Yes, I retired, and I immediately went from my retirement. I went straight into the next day. I was at a dental office helping him build his practice and coaching up people, proper customer service and the dental assistants and how to do this and how to do that. I've learned so much just being around my son because he's a dentist, but not only that, and how to handle yourself in a professional setting, in an office setting, a medical facility. There's so many different. Coming from a coaching background, an education background, it's completely different. And so I've learned so much from my son, Dr. V. But my wife and I were working, and my wife's still working there. But so we've done like 2 years, almost 2 years. This July would have been 2 years. A little short. I did about a year and a half, or a year and almost 3/4 of a year. Yeah.
So when did you get the itch to get back into coaching? When did that come about?
Well, it's just it's always been there. It never went away. To be honest with you, I've always been a coach. That's what I do. Even when I retired, I was still coaching. I'd go into that dental office and I was coaching everybody up. That's just my nature. I'm going to help everybody. I'm not, I don't know it all, but I'm going to learn it. And a lot of stuff just comes from common sense. Treat people right and and try to get better every day. It doesn't make a difference if you're a dental assistant, a freshman football coach, a volleyball coach. You have to improve your deal every day. I mean, you just can't go through life just doing the same thing over and over and over again. Let's improve in whatever we're doing and take pride into your profession or what you're doing, because at the end result, you're going to help kids, student athletes. You're going to help. You're going to help the patients at the dental office. You're going to help the dental assistants. You're going to help somebody. So I always try to instill pride in your work. That to me is your calling card. Don't just do things, however, my dad always taught me, hey, you're going to do a job and your name's on it, do it the best way you can. And then, you can sleep well at night.
Definitely. When you saw the Port Isabel job open up, did it take a little bit of time to think maybe this is a place I want to go back and apply? Or was it instantly like, that's where I want to be?
No, it was instant, because Port Isabel's a special place. It's there's so much tradition, and me being out a couple years or a year and plus, I was thinking about it, but for the most part, I mean, who doesn't want to be in Port Isabel, man? You look at the tradition. Oh my goodness, we're doing some things right now. We're putting up all the semifinal pictures in the locker room. We're doing a lot of things. It's just, I mean, the ghost of Tarpon Pass is all over the place. We used to have a thing called, we used to run the boys to Highway 48 and back. And back in the day, there was our defense coordinator, Eliseo Villareal, who's an icon. He's a legend in this community, Coach V. I mean, I ran the other day the Highway 48 thing, and I mean, you could hear Coach V yelling in the background, keep moving. So there's a lot of great things here, a lot of good people, and a lot of tradition, a lot of people that want the Tarpons to do well, not only in football, but in everything. Like the basketball team went 3 rounds deep. They got tremendous power lifters. The girls program is doing well. The facilities here are off the chart. I mean, I've been in 6As, I've been in 5As, I've been in smaller campuses, but their facilities are off the chart. You got 4 gyms, and they got the newest weight room. They have the infrastructure is tremendous. The people are great. The administration, the superintendent, the principal, off the chart. We just got to get the kids out. If we get the kids out, we may have a little football team there. Hopefully, a successful athletic program, not only football, but overall athletic programming.
Has anyone on campus maybe asked about the 90s, the glory days from Port Isabel when you were first there?
Well, we have a few coaches that are coaching here that were here, and I think they were freshmen, sophomores, and Walberto Gonzalez and Albert Barberena, they're coaches on the varsity. So yeah, we talk about the old days, and they're the ones helping us with the history and the pictures. So where they were putting up, so people can understand, so young men and young athletes can understand the history behind it and the pride. Because a lot of times, you'll have your tío come and tell you, hey, back when I played, kids are gonna be kids, or boys are gonna be boys. They'll say, what, tío? But now you see it every day. You see that championship picture every day in the locker rooms. Oh, there's Theo. Oh boy, I better get to work. You better get to work, because he's gonna come home, and I'm gonna bring Theo here to show you that I put it up there. So it's really, the thing is that Port Isabel has a unique opportunity, because there's a foundation and there's history. Some places, your tío and your uncle and your brother and your grandfather can't tell you, son, I played on that 81 ball club that went to the 7. Nobody can say that. A lot of people can't say that. Here, they can, when they tell you, when an older gentleman tells you, hey, I played on that 81 ball club, or I played in that 94 ball club, that's stuff that's why tradition never dies, because you have grown men and ladies telling, hey, your father played on that team. Who are you? So that's a good support, a sense of support that we have throughout the community. Yes, and we're going to use that.
Definitely. Coach, we're considering the state that we're in. I know Port Isabel and both Donna North, they needed coaches.
Yeah.
And the challenge for coaches applying in a time like this with so much uncertainty, How do you guys handle it going forward with the uncertainty with how soon can you work with your kids and the potential
Right,
of the season starting late and you guys upstarting the
right.
program?
Well, I really think for the most part, coaches, at least most coaches, um, are more adapt to this situation than anybody else because, in a football game, you have to constantly be adjusting. I mean, if you stay with the same game plan on Friday night, you're probably going to lose that game. So football coaches, they understand when they come to the sideline, you better change the defense, or you better change the offense, or you better make an adjustment, flip a personnel or matchups or something. So I kind of see it. I kind of see it like a football game. I mean, you have to be a champion of change. What you plan for yesterday or last year or 2 days ago, not necessarily is it going to be good today. We're always getting updates from the governor and from UIL and the education commissioner, and not only that, the county, and then the things that we implement here district wide, locally. So it's always a moving target, and that's fine. We just got to be a little patient because things are going to eventually get back to normal. This thing will die out eventually, but football in Texas will always be played, and somehow, some way, we'll take some precautions. But if you're a rigid person and you can't make any adjustments, then I think you're in the wrong profession. This thing, I think football coaches or all kind of coaches, even basketball coaches, volleyball, everybody makes adjustments. And I think right now you have to take that mindset. It's we're having some meetings, and it's a moving target, so it's very difficult, but it's very challenging. It's extremely exciting on how we can talk to, like, even just do an interview like yourself, and get our kids and that kind of stuff. So we're real excited about those opportunities.
The latest we've seen from UIL is June 8th. That's the date where kids can start working out again.
Absolutely.
Do you have a potential plan or something you'd like to see as far as that goes, not just with your football boys, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
athletic program?
Yes, we're as we're speaking, we're approving some things, but everything's got to, at our district, we have to prove everything through our principal and our superintendent, and we've made some proposals, and obviously our overall athletic program will do some recommendations for doing some home workouts, and then eventually we're still working out the kinks for the June 8th, which everybody's excited about. We just got that today, so we kind of met a little bit, but Memorial Day will give us a 3-day weekend. We can kind of, hopefully iron all those little criterias out. Yes, sir.
Definitely. As far as your staff goes, have you gotten there yet, or is it,
That's also a moving target, because right now it's kind of a difficult situation because we're ramping down. Coach Tony and myself, I'm ready. I'm already in August. I'm already in the first game. I'm already thinking like that. But everybody, the principal and the superintendent, hey, slow down, coach. We're right now we're closing down the district. We're picking up it. We're kind of trying to shut down the district from last year. So to answer your question, it's I'm already already in August, but we got to still close it down, and so it's a moving target right now. We don't have anything or anybody. We're trying to get a couple guys in here, but you just never know.
right? Again, you've only been out, what, 2-3 years out of coaching?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Have you seen a change in the game? I know, these days we're seeing a lot of the spread, and I know you're
Right.
run-based
Right.
offense. What have
Yeah.
you seen over the last few
Well,
years?
let me tell you a couple of things. Yes, I am a run-based guy, but there's many layers of Coach Tony. If you really did your research, there's a couple times, and I'll throw you some names. You can do the research. Dylan DeLeon threw for 1,600 yards, 27 touchdown passes out of this run-oriented offense. But the last couple of years, we were in a 3-by-1 and doubles and that kind of stuff because everybody wants to see that, and it's exciting. But I think for the most part, everybody wants to do well, and the bottom line, it's W's. I think you need to win a game or two, and what we know, we're going to play to our strengths. If we have a quarterback, we'll open it up. Like we get a Dylan DeLeon, we'll open it up, like he did. Like he threw for 1,600 yards. You can't put that young man underneath the center. We got to open it up. I think against San Antonio Madison, he threw for 350 yards, if not, or 258 yards. So that's a slot T quarterback, and threw five touchdown passes against the #1 defense in the 5As that year. So, we know a little bit about throwing the ball. If we get that guy, then we'll open it. We got to play to our strengths. So, yeah. But to answer your question, I think, football's football. Running, I think you have to be able to run. I think you have to be able to throw and catch. I think you need to block, and I think you need to tackle, and you got to have effort. And so I think football, if you line up in a different formation, that's great. But I think, you got to coach what the fundamentals are, and what formation you're in. I really don't think that matters. I mean, you just got to coach the young men that you have. But I think football has changed a little bit. But I also see a resurgence. I see the slot T. I see, like Los Fresnos is running the triple option and the 2 tight end up. So I think it's coming, full circle. So you never know. I think a lot of coaches are too smart, man. Coaches know, hey, I got to play to my strengths. If I don't have a quarterback, I better do something.
Definitely. Well, one game that comes to mind is the funny story was your old offensive coordinator, Leo Mireles. Coach over at Rio Grande City now. And I covered one of his games, I think when they played against, I think it was Brownsville Pace this year. But I hadn't seen him in years. And I went over to go talk to him after the game. He says, "You don't remember me, Naro?" And I said, "Coach," I said, "it's been years." He goes, "I've seen so many people, so many."
Yes.
He goes, "You and I were stuck in the press box for hours in San Antonio with Weslaco and United."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's great, man.
Rain. But I do remember you guys opening it up a little bit against United that game.
Yeah. We threw quite a bit, and we had to come from behind a little bit, and we almost won that game. I think we were 1 or 2 touchdowns short, but we got down quick, and then we just opened it up. What people don't realize about our offense and we got everything that everybody else has. We hang our hat on running the football, right? And that's just what it is. I mean, whatever bubble screen or whatever the spread people do, we do. We just don't show it until we need to show it. That's just what it is. You better prep for all. If you don't prep for that, we may come out second half and do that. And you saw it against United. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah. And I remember the rain, the delay, and Coach Mireles and I were legit stuck in that press box for hours.
That's crazy. That's great. Good story.
You're coming into a senior, Joey Creambaum. He's going to be the senior this year with Port Isabel. Were you able to watch him these last couple years and what PI was able to do? Brian Medina, unfortunately, he's graduated already, but he's a 1,000-yard rusher.
Yes. No, we have a high regard for the quarterback, Joey. And in fact, he already reached out to me. Seems like a class young man, and we're gonna use all our seniors. We also have a couple of sophomore quarterbacks, so we're gonna, again, like I said, we're gonna play to our strengths. If he can throw the ball, he can throw the ball. If he can run the ball, he can run the ball. If somebody else can do it, then we'll do it. But it seems like Joey looks like a quality young man.
You guys also are in a new district. Port Isabel, these last 2 years were a 14 district. You guys jumped to an 8-team district, and it's basically the coastal bend in the valley with you all, Rio Hondo, Raymondville, and you guys add teams like Rockport, Sinton. Just how tough is this district going to be with what you know so far?
Well, extremely tough. I mean, there's not one non-playoff team. Everybody made the playoffs last year, and then you factor in the travel, and then the coastal bend, the toughness of that, and trying to drive all day, or leave here at 1, 2 o'clock, get out of the bus and go play people from Coastal Bend. That's tough. I mean, that to me is the biggest issue. I mean, lining up and playing, we're going to play and we're going to be competitive, but it's so hard to get off the bus and play when you have to travel. So you got to be on a bus for 3, 4, 5 hours and then play the likes of those and vice versa. They got to come down and play the likes of Rio Hondo, Raymondville, and us, and they got to get on the bus and drive down. So it's the same thing for both. But I will tell you this: I think that's going to be the variable, on how you can maybe eke out a win on the road, man. That's going to be very difficult. I think that's the the 12th man against us. You know, that guy's not going to be with us when we're driving. Hopefully we can get that 12th man on our side. So I think every coach has to struggle with that.
You know, Rio Hondo has a lot coming back. Ismael Rodriguez, one of those names. Matthew Trevino at quarterback. They were very young on offense. And then you have Raymondville. You know, Zaravion Armendariz, easily one of the best athletes in the Valley. You know, we just talked Coastal Bend, but right here in your backyard, it's going to be tough with those two teams alone.
Absolutely, absolutely. We haven't. We've been looking at some video, but we haven't really done the research on them. I know they've got great programs. I've watched them in years past. The last couple, I think the last 3 years, I've gone to the PI, Raymondville PI, Rio Hondo games, and it's, you know, they do a great job. You know, Rocky James and all the rest of the coaches do a great job. I mean, like I said, it's going to be very difficult, very challenging, because they're all legit playoff teams, and not only the people in our valley, in our district here locally, but the people in Coastal Bend.
Definitely, Coach. Before we wrap up, you know, I know it's still young and you're still getting to know, you know, the kids there at PI, but just what can we expect from the Tarpons this upcoming season?
Well, you know, it's a difficult question to answer because I haven't even seen the kids, but I can tell you that they're going to be well coached. I can tell you that we're going to give everybody a heck of a game, and we're gonna show a lot of class, a lot of pride, a lot of dignity, and not that they didn't have in the past. They've always had. I think, you know, Coach Infante and Coach Strug did a great job, but we're always gonna uphold the pride of this community, Kevin. This community is a very proud community, and I think that they'll support just about anything. But here's the thing. We want to be always, whether we win or whether we lose, we always want to show a lot of class and a lot of pride. And so I think because of the historical foundation and the legacy and the tradition, we're going to always compete hard. And so we'll see, you know, we got a very tough challenge ahead of us. I think every single team in our district is a playoff team, like I said. And so we'll do the best we can. But I guarantee you one thing, these kids are going to play hard, and they're always going to give you effort. They're always going to keep their head up, and they're going to show class, and we're going to have a lot of pride.
Last question, Coach, before we go. One thing that I asked Coach James, Tino Villareal, and Coach Monty Stumball were on our show on Monday was, we do see the June 8th date to where they're allowing certain things, certain restrictions as far as the kids working out. I feel that we're on track to where volleyball, football, cross country can come back in the fall. But is there maybe a date you have circled as far as a red flag goes to say we're in July and we're still having limited workouts to where the season could get pushed back? Or are we just going to just take it as we go?
No, I haven't really thought it that way. I'm really getting geared up, and you know, like I said, we haven't even put our staff together. But I'm thinking Texas is going to play football, and I think they're eventually going to open it up. And again, it's day by day. If they push it back, then we adjust, and that's just, like I said, you got to be a champion of change or adjustments. If not, then you're going to get eaten up by the stuff, you know. So yeah, that's the way I would approach it.
Definitely. We're joined by Port Isabel AD and head football coach Tony Villareal, our second guest of the day. Coach, any shout outs you want to give out to any family or fans or any of your athletes tuning in?
Well, I want to, yeah, you know, the whole ex-alumni that we have here, all the Tarpons, and then my son's dental office. I'm sure they're over there watching, and they're pulling for us. But I want to thank you for having me on the show. Hopefully, we'll have some more. Maybe we'll have some success this year. Thank you, Kevin.
Coach, funny story. This was about a year and a half ago. I live here in Edinburgh.
Okay.
I was driving down. I forget what the street your son's dental practice is on. It's off of
10th Street.
10th Street and
10th Avenue, yeah.
Chapin.
And Klausner.
Klausner,
right? Yeah. Yeah.
I was turning on 10th Street.
Uh-huh.
And I'm driving down and I'm passing by the office, and I see a guy in khaki pants and a polo, and I'm driving and I look and I'm like, was that Tony V? Nah,
that's crazy.
That wasn't him.
Yeah.
Wait, it was.
It was. You got a good eye. That's right, Kevin.
But I'm like, wait, that can't be Tony V.
Yeah.
Nah, it wasn't. It was.
It was. Yeah. So thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. And so call me on anytime. I'll be glad to visit with you.
Definitely, Coach. Yes, thank you, Coach. We're joined by Tony Villareal, AD, head coach of the Port Isabel Tarpons. 5 o'clock, our final show of the day. We're going to be joined by Brownsville Hannah's head coach Mark Guess. So we're going to keep the football train rolling. Coach, congratulations on getting the job. We're excited to see the Tarpons this year. We'll see you guys hopefully soon, and stay home, stay at work, and stay safe.
Thank you, Kevin. You
Yes,
have a
sir.
good day. Bye-bye. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Bye-bye.